What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Reeves Rules. I'm your host, Cameron Reeves, and I've got a special guest with us here today, Daniel Hutchinson. He's the founder and CEO of Project Spark. He is a leader and a pioneer in the motivational space, one of the happiest guys I've ever met, and I'm so excited to have him here with us today.
Hey,
what's going on?
Thank you for having me, man. That's quite an introduction, man. I love smiling. I love showing my 32s, man.
That's right.
I'm really excited for today.
Absolutely. What lit that spark of motivation for you to start Project Spark?
Yeah, man. I mean, it definitely was a whole journey. I think wellness and specifically mental wellness has been a part of my life, my entire life, from early childhood to adolescent years. But I think what really sparked the idea to create, Project Spark and have an entrepreneurial path was my time as a mental wellness coach in Denver, Colorado. So I had time to work one-on-one with patients suffering from depression, OCD, anxiety, addiction, like you name it, like talking to these people that are really going through a hard time of their life. And I think just my awareness and the conversations that I was having with these people really created something in me, a fire in me to want to create a space for everybody to feel welcome, to feel loved, to have that space to be uniquely themselves. And you shouldn't have to just worry about like finding the right therapist or, if your insurance doesn't cover something, like how can I create that space for everybody? So that's kind of where it all began. And I've just been hustling that ever since.
Absolutely. And that's so cool to see because you've basically built a business around something that I would argue everyone deals with. Mm-hmm. Like life is a conglomerate of all emotions, and you've got to feel them all. Like You're not going to be happy all the time. Mm-hmm. And so battling that is something everyone deals with. Give the audience, in case they don't know, like an elevator pitch of what Project Spark is and what it is that y'all do.
Definitely. So Project Spark is a community built to use creative outlets to promote your positive mental wellness. So I do different workshops, we'll have different pop-up events and things like that. And we're just creating a space where creative outlets is your way of wellness. You can draw, you can paint, you can talk, you can have community, you can do all these things and have that space for you to be authentically yourself. So
awesome. So it's a pursuit of solving these mental issues through creativity.
Through creativity, yep. And that's something that I really found when I was working in my mental health position. So I'll tell you a quick story. Why not? So I had this patient, won't say his name, HIPAA, but we were working every single day. And, the first day he came in, he was talking to me just about what he was dealing with and how he felt he was living behind the glass, right? He couldn't experience relationships the same way he did before when he was younger. He was an artist. He hadn't picked up a paintbrush in over 2 years, and he just was really struggling. The first 4 weeks of our sessions every single day, we weren't getting anywhere. We would hit that roadblock, those walls would go up, and he wouldn't share what he was feeling, or he wouldn't open up about these certain things. And then one day I just was like, look, you're an artist. You haven't painted in 2 years. Let's get you doing something creative. Let's get you having that stimuli to release those emotions, because that's your release, right? That day, pen to paper, I told him to draw whatever it is he can draw. He ended up drawing a tree, and he just was drawing and didn't pick up the pen off the paper and was going through. I said, what part are you on now? Oh, the branch. Oh, I'm on the leaf. And I was like, tell me, why did you choose to draw a tree? And it was that question while he's doing his creative outlet that he was able to open up. Like those walls were removed, they were lowered, and he was able to be his full authentic self. Yeah. So every session after that for the next 4 weeks, right, we always did some type of creative outlet, whether it was sculpting with Play-Doh, whether it was drawing, coloring, or even having creative writing, like, and talking about what was going on. And you can physically see those walls going down, and like that release of everything that he was feeling and that he kept like locked down was able to really flourish and come out. And at the end of his program with me, like, he was crying in my arms, just like, you changed my life, you changed my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And that moment I was like, oh, like, I need to go do this. I know this works for a fact. So that's kind of where it all began and just what makes me happy, I guess.
That's really fascinating. I have the chills. Like, that relates to me a lot because I was an athlete. Like, I wasn't like the artist.
Yeah.
But I loved art. And the thing I fell in love with was graphic design.
Yeah.
And anytime I had something going on or something that was bothering me, I would just try to develop it into some sort of artwork in Photoshop. And I loved it. And it was super efficient.
Yeah.
But it's like, how can you make a career out of graphic design? Like, yeah, people do it, but it's not an easy career.
Right.
And I've been thinking about exactly what you said is like, I've reached a point in my life where I'm not like only looking forward to the future and like running from the past. It's like, I actually enjoy where I am. My job, my business of creating apparel products, I'm using creative outlets in Photoshop and Illustrator every single day to design these products. And that may be really a huge contribution as to why.
It's what it is. It's doing literally what you love to do. It's 100%. Doing what fills you up and fills your cup. And a lot of time we get lost in that, like, oh, what does my career have to look like? I'm gonna go work this, no shame to a 9-to-5, but like when you get into that system of just doing something over and over and over again, you lose your light, you lose your passion to live life, man. So like hearing that you found, your creative outlet through what you're building, it's like you weaved in those parts of your life to make something that makes you happy and successful and you're doing your thing. Like that's what it's all about.
100%. Yeah. And I think what you said about a 9-to-5 is super true because there's a stigma and a stereotype, but that stigma and stereotype is there for a reason. And that's not to say that you can't find a 9-to-5 that you love. I honestly would urge you to go find that. After running my own company for 18 months now, it's like, if you can find that, you hit the sweet spot because it is a battle every day.
Yeah, man.
But I think most do kind of put that light out, and every day kind of starts bleeding into each other.
Yeah, man.
You've got a psychology degree.
Yes.
From Ithaca, right?
Yes, sir.
How do you feel that's fueled this journey, Project Spark? Do you draw on what you learned through that often? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I actually do want to touch a little bit. So you said you were an athlete. I also was an athlete in college. I was a dual sport athlete at Ithaca College.
Oh,
yeah, I ran football and I ran track. And that was really my outlet for a long time. So my senior year of high school, let's draw it all the way back real quick. I ended up blowing out my knee. Tore my ACL, MCL, and meniscus.
Oh, man.
Unhappy triad, that's what they call it. Lost all my Division I offers, all my interests. Yeah, man. And playing football in South Florida, it's like huge thing. We are a powerhouse.
I'm from Texas. I get it.
Yeah. So you really know.
Yeah.
So you really know. I got chills right now. For real. And just kind of losing that whole entire thing, it really put me in a space mentally where I'd never been before. I was depressed. I was feeling anxiety. I was feeling like a failure. And losing all of that, I just was like, I just want a chance. I literally just want a chance to go play ball. And Ithaca reached out to me. I was able to, get on that roster with Coach Terp. Shout out Coach Terp. And, he urged me to really study something that aligns with who I am as a person. And I started off as an athletic trainer major. So I was trying to be an AT. I like, being an athlete and things like that and working with the guys. But I don't know, man. After that first semester, I just was like, this isn't my path. Like, I love helping people, but it's not going to look like this. And so talked to him a bunch, man. I was in his office every day, and he just was like, go study psychology. Go do something, because you are a smart guy. You can do that. So
100%.
When it's a psychology and everything that I was learning about the brain and the mind and the capability that you have to reach your full potential and what it looks like to have habits and how important creating habits are, man, it changed my life. Like, what I was studying in school was just aligning with my life. And it felt so in tune with who I am. And now building Project Spark and relying on that degree and relying on that, it's not just the certificate that I got. It's not just the diploma that I got with psychology. It's all the stuff that I learned, I applied in my life in real time. And then I'm applying it now with Project Spark and everything I'm doing. So huge impact on me, man. And I will always be forever grateful of Coach Terp for telling me to switch that major if, AT wasn't the thing. So
that's awesome, though. And I really relate and I appreciate your story because I feel like there's a lot of negativity around college, which I don't think isn't fair because people get into debt for reasons they shouldn't and that stuff. But like that's what it's about right there.
Right.
And for me, I can't imagine your story. Dude, football was my sport. Like, I played running back. I loved it.
Oh, yeah,
loved
dog.
it. Junior year, dude, I was like the guy. I was, 4th and 10. They're giving it to me.
Yeah.
Loved it. Senior year comes around, and the head coach's grandson moves to my town. Bro, I barely saw the field my senior year. And so I can't imagine having those offers and having something like that happen because I was just bitter about it.
Yeah.
So I picked up lacrosse. So I'm going to go do something else. But it stuck with me. Like, I felt like I should have been doing that. So I can just relate to you being 18. But also, we went to where we needed to be. Like, most people aren't going to play pro sports. That's what I thought I was going to do. Like,
same.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's
just, like, you got to find your path, and it's not easy. Like, it's... to be exceptional, you kind of have to be the exception and go through those things that are hard. But being an athlete in college, I think, is one of the best things a young man can do because your ass is getting up at 5 in the morning. You got practice at 5 at night. And guess what? You got school. And that's a hard degree, dude. I had a lot of interest in that degree. I actually got a degree in coding.
Okay, yeah.
But dude, psychology, that's good stuff. And you're using that every day.
Every day, man. And it's like the thing with psychology too, especially studying it in school, it's not just, I'm not going to sit down and take a test. Like I have to write about everything. I was writing 20-page essays, 25-page essays, and balancing sport, and then even having to work a job if I got to work a job on campus.
100%.
Like, yo, you have no time to do anything. So like definitely playing sports as a young man in college, that taught me so much about discipline, showing up
100%.
for yourself, for your brothers, doing your 111th. That's what we used to say all the time on the team.
Absolutely.
Like 100%, man, 100%.
And I only played one sport. So I can't imagine.
Dude,
I can't imagine.
My last football game was December 3rd, and my first track meet was December 5th. I had no, yeah.
Probably
No
limping.
time. Dude, my body
crazy.
was cooked. My body was literally cooked, man. At the end of
man.
it, yeah, man, stuff.
That's awesome. Psychology, that's such a good degree too, because I was talking about this with a buddy of mine today. I think my degree is, I chose it because I was like, computers are involved in everything. It's the safest degree I could ever get. Mm-hmm. I think AI just totally washed that off the board.
Yeah, man, but you couldn't expect that to happen, bro.
But I was like, everything uses computers. I'm completely safe. I'll always be able to get a job.
Yeah.
I really think it would be hard for me now.
Yeah,
because
man.
I got let go from my coding job.
What, really?
I had no idea why. I was like,
Wow.
I'm one of the hardest working people here.
Yeah.
You know what I saw on LinkedIn last week?
What?
My old boss doing my work with AI. He said, look at this CSV converter I built.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
AI
but it makes sense. Why would you keep someone around when you can have AI for $30 a month and it does a better job? Like,
yeah, literally, and it does it like that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. The development of AI, like, if you are just now starting out as an entrepreneur or anything, if you're starting anything,
Gotta be getting in it.
you have to learn AI right now, or else you're going to be left behind. You will be left behind 100%.
100%.
But it's crazy the way that it's kind of taking away jobs and taking away opportunity, but it's like also giving us a space now to then do the things that add to our life, to fill our cup and to have that creative outlet, right? So now you're hopping on and you're doing all of your digital stuff on the computer, creating the graphic designs and things
100%.
like that. Like, kind of gives you a little bit more space and time to do that.
I 100% agree. But I was saying, I don't think psychology is something that can be replaced.
Yeah.
And so that's really unique. I was also saying, I think it's the easiest time in history to start a business, which is a pretty bold statement. But I just want to urge people, like, you have so many resources like at our fingertips,
Right.
To make content, to use AI, to do all these different things, to look up anything. Like
Literally.
50 years ago, they didn't have anything, like
Yeah,
nothing.
right.
They could barely communicate with each other.
Right.
And so I feel like that's kind of a humbling, like, use these resources, like they're here.
Yeah, you have to use your resources. And it's like a lot of people have a lack of motivation, right? Or they get overwhelmed by what's going on. Yes, you have all the resources at your fingertips, but then it's like, oh, I can look up anything in the world. And the vastness of it all can really overwhelm people. And I feel like what's going to separate successful people, successful entrepreneurs, and the avenue that they're going down is the ability to stay grounded, to be like, I do have the vastness of everything in front of me, and I have the capability of doing one thing at a time to make the whole thing. A lot of people can see it and get too overwhelmed and be like, it's too much. I'm just going to go do this route and not even look at that. So, like, separate yourself. You have to separate yourself.
So true. I think that's such a smart statement too, because people do get overwhelmed, and that's why I always say my only objective today is to get 1% better. That's all I need, because if I can do that over a long period of time, that's unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
But mark your stuff down and get that stuff done each day.
You got to show up for yourself.
Something I saw you say on a video that I really liked, and I've never heard anybody say it, and I do it all the time. Anytime I get uncomfortable or stressed, I do this. And I say something that I shouldn't say to my fiance, because I say I don't have anxiety, and she hates that.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say that. And it's not necessarily true, but this thing you said is really the secret.
Yeah.
I take myself out of my view, and I observe myself as a third party.
Yeah.
And what that really means is I'm taking the emotion out of it, and I'm looking at the circumstances as if I'm somebody else, far away.
Yeah.
Let's figure out what's going on, because I'm so mad right now. Like, let's figure out what's going on and address it address it. And I think that's so smart that you said that.
Yeah, man, dude, I had to like sit back and like look at you. I was like, dude, but that's what it is, bro.
100%.
That is what it is. A lot of people are controlled by their thoughts. Like, you are the thinker, and when you can understand that you are in control of what you think about and how it makes you feel, it changes the game, dude. And if you could essentially take yourself outside your body and then look at yourself, that is how you navigate relationships, scaling your business, career opportunities. Like, you see things from a whole new observing perspective that can really change the outcome of like everything that you do, man. It's just taking a second to observe before you react.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so smart. So smart.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'd never heard anybody say that though. And I do that, but I'd never consciously thought about doing it.
Yeah.
It's just what I do is like, my fiance would be like, what are you, like, where are you? Like, because I'm like staring off into space, but I'm like, I'm really separating back and I'm like, okay, what's the problem? We're going to figure this out. Like, there is no, failure's not an option. Let's figure it out. Like, let's go. So
yeah, that's your grit, bro. That's your grit, bro. You were taught that without even realizing it, and then now that you are aware of that, dude, skyrocket with that, bro. 10x everything, right? So now you got 100%. That feeling. Always observe that, man, and you're gonna elevate even more. Like,
absolutely. But having that psychology understanding of controlling your thoughts and staying calm, dude, that's golden. Like,
yeah, man,
golden.
Yeah, I was blessed definitely to be able to study that and to realize those things.
100%. I'm gonna hit you with the vulnerable one here. We're gonna get into it. I think you and I can relate on that from childhood experiences, and I think things that happen to us when we're young that seem catastrophic and seem terrible, ultimately can sharpen us and make us tougher. Yeah. To where, oh, I'm stressed about business or whatever it is. That's nothing. Like, I've got these reflecting moments that I'm going through.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Dude, but that's literally what it is. Like, I think the stress that I feel now as a man, like, now I'm grown, right? I dealt with all this stuff I dealt when I was a child, but now as a man, the stress that I feel does not even compare to the stress that I felt when I was 5, 6, 7, or 13, 14, 15 years old. Like, I truly believe that I can handle anything that comes my way. I'm more than capable of, achieving what it is that I want to achieve, regardless of the barrier that's in front of me. Like, I don't care what's in front of me. It's not as big as what I had to overcome as a kid. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a hard thing to deal with as a child because you don't have that level of critical thinking. Right. And so I think that taking yourself out of it and observing your circumstances is kind of developed in that struggle of, I don't know what to do.
Right.
Because I'm 10 years old. I just lost a parent.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. If you let your emotions in there, they're going to consume you. So you've got to think logically and critically about what's happening and how you're going to navigate forward.
Yeah, man.
And it's kind of forged in fire.
Yeah, it really is. Forged in fire. Yeah. I like that. It definitely does, man. Like, when you experience, specifically, you talk about like losing a parent or to something, my father was arrested when I was 7 years old, like went off to prison, and I didn't see him since. But like, I remember that day as vivid as ever. I can tell you what it smelled like, what I was wearing that day, who I spoke to, everything about that whole entire day. And it was kind of like, I took myself outside my body and I was kind of just aware of everything that was happening without even knowing that that's what I was doing as a 7-year-old kid. And like you're saying, it's something that we learned before we even realized that that's what we were doing. And you carry that every single time. And, I tore my ACL. I was still carrying that observing state. Okay, now I'm stuck here.
Right.
I'm literally stuck here, and all I can do is think about my life. I can't even get up and go to the bathroom without, somebody helping me get there. So it's like, when you're really still for a second, your mind can really do wonders if you let it do wonders. And sometimes it's hard, and it's scary, and you don't want to do it. But when you're able to do it and sit there and let all these emotions come and observe it with a space of no emotion, it changes the game, man. And it definitely is rooted in that childhood experience, specifically between how, you and I, what we've dealt with. So, yeah.
I 100% agree. Yeah, that's a tough one. And I feel like it's not easy, like I really feel like that's a healthy way of handling things is being calm and just thinking through it.
Yeah.
And I think talking to people too and having a psychologist is good for a lot of people, but I feel like maybe as guys, it's easier or better or perhaps more efficient to have that conversation with yourself first.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people's issues and the reason that they're not able to confront traumas, and they almost develop that like victim mentality of like, oh, this bad thing happened to me, and you know, that's their crutch. It's like, dude, you've healed.
Yes.
The ACL is healed.
Yes.
You don't need those crutches. Like, let's go. Because I remember consciously making that decision at 10, like,
Yeah.
oh, my mom, you know, she's on drugs. Oh, you know,
Yeah.
everyone else is doing it. Like, fuck no. That's not me.
Right.
Like, I'm not using that as an excuse. Get the fuck out of the way if that's what you're going to do. Like,
Yeah, bro, hell yeah.
I'm committing to being who I want to be. I'm not going to be like that. That's not an excuse. And there's nothing easy about that.
Nothing, man.
But I feel like in life, you make a right choice, it's easier to make another one. It becomes a habit of making good choices and developing towards, your aim is high, you're going towards that goodness of what you want to be. But if you start making bad choices, cheating people and stealing or doing drugs or whatever it is, it quickly starts to become easier to do the bad things over and over again.
Exactly.
And I feel like I've seen people in my life go both ways. But it's almost like a snowball either way you're going, you know?
Dude, I relate to that like more than you probably even know. I mean, this is like, yo, really quick, this is like our second conversation we've ever had in person. Like, you know, but like the stuff that you're saying, I relate to 100%, bro. Like it aligns so much. You know, I saw, if you're talking about rewiring your brain or whatever, just like getting into habits, it's once you start making a bad decision and you repeatedly make that bad decision, it becomes a norm, and it's the easiest thing to do is just make that bad decision. And then when you look at trying to heal and get out of that, of course it's going to look like a mountain because you just spent all that time doing that. Vice versa, if you look at the other side, you start making all these good decisions over and over repeatedly, again and again and again, sacrifice, showing up for yourself, regardless of the day. That is how you propel. And it's two sides of the spectrum. And in my upbringing, my childhood, I saw that with my dad and my mom. My dad was on that one side of the spectrum where he's, you know, I grew up in Section 8 housing in Chicago, Illinois. You know, Dad was doing some stuff with some people that he shouldn't have been with and getting into violence and all these things. And we were like, why can't you just make that change? Why can't you just stop? It's because when you repeatedly do it, you are wiring your brain to be that exact way.
Right.
So for you saying, you know, what you said about your mom and kind of just seeing that, man, that's like, it's such a conscious decision to be able to choose the right all the time. So I got kind of a question for you, if you're all right.
Oh, of course.
What's your like, what helps you not waver, right? Like, how do you bend, don't break, but like, what is that about you that's making you not break and that's making you consistently show up for yourself? Like, I know you don't want to end up down a certain path, but like, what's that thing that's just, no, like, I'm here, I'm showing up. Like, what is that for you?
I think for me, and the reason I brought it up is because I know that if I make one bad choice, it's going to be easier. And genetically, I have someone who made awful choices, so I'm already at a disadvantage.
Right.
So like I make bad choices sometimes. Like I'm not saying I don't. Like,
Right.
Like college was terrible. Like,
Hey, that's college, though. That's college. You got to live it up.
but something that I do and I don't run from is like, if I mess up intentionally or not, because sometimes you make a bad choice and you didn't mean to, is like, I hold myself accountable for that and I fix it. Whatever that means. Get a ticket, broke somebody's window, broke somebody's, so whatever it is, I'm going to fix it. Like I take care of it and I take responsibility for it. And I let myself feel that guilt and understand that whatever it was wrong. If I believe it was wrong. But I think a lot of that stems from, to get to the root of it, growing up the way I did, people were like, oh, don't hang out with that kid. Oh, you're not allowed to see him anymore. Like, that kid's trouble. Yeah. He's not going to be successful. He's not going to be who you want to be around. Yeah. Oh, okay, oh, really?
Right.
Well, let's go 15 years in the future and see, buddy. Like, oh, you were like, I will not stop. Like, I will not stop. And that's why I think a lot of my fire comes from people doubting me. It's a silly example. Like, today, but that football thing, taking that from me, I worked every single day. I worked everybody on that team. I wasn't the best player at all.
Yeah.
But I deserved to be on the field.
Yep.
And when they did that, I said, man, I'm going to do so much work in this life that it's unreasonable for me to not be successful.
Right.
Like I am going to just will it and force it into existence.
Yeah, like it has to happen.
Yeah,
there's no other.
I will do 10 times the amount of work it takes to produce the one result.
Dude.
So it's like unreasonable to not work.
Yeah, we are so similar. It's like crazy. It's actually crazy, man. Like that's what it is, and that's the most genuine answer that I could have gotten, because there might be one person out here that's dealing with the same thing that we've dealt with.
So true.
And literally, it's about showing up for yourself and facing the music. Like, do not be afraid of your actions. If your actions have costed something in a negative way, or your actions have resulted in something that makes people feel bad, or you feel bad, or whatever's happening, face the music and fix it. So many people do that and they run away from it. They make a bad choice, they run away from it. That's the snowball effect. That's how you keep making bad decisions. When you can man up and drop your nuts and be like, okay, I need to make right on this. That's what I need to do. And it stems from that sports aspect. Same way, bro. Like freshman, sophomore year, I didn't touch the field at all, bro. I thought I had a 40-inch vertical. I ran a 4.5 in the 40, bro. Woo. Yeah, I was flying, bro. I was flying. I'm telling you, bro. And I wouldn't see the field. There's so many athletes out here in Florida where it's like, if you're not a 5-star, 4-star, like you might not see the field. So that work ethic, that drive, I got to do it. I got to do it. Junior year was good for me. I started getting offers and looked at. And then senior year was really supposed to be my year. It's supposed to be the year that like, oh yeah, senior year, I'm taking off. It's finally my time. Then I'm out for the whole season. You know, like that's the hard part. But then like me sitting alone in like my hospital bed after surgery, or I got blood clots after my surgery too. So I was in the hospital, for another, 6 weeks for that. But taking that time to be alone, I'm sitting here like, nah, bro. Like I know all this work that I just put in for the past 10 years of my life to want to go play pro sports. It's not going to go to waste. Like now I know my future looks a little different. I might not go to a D1 school. I might not go pro in any sport, but I know the man that I am. I know the type of work ethic that I have. I know the drive that I have. And I know not a damn thing is going to stop me from where I want to go.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like you and I align on that 100%, man. And that is what it takes to show up for yourself and to be the best version of yourself 100%.
Absolutely agree. And I think for me, at least, there's a pivotal thing that's missing, and that's that faith. Is like, I'm going to show up for myself, but I believe that God's there for me.
Amen, yeah.
Because football was rough, did all that work. You're in the same boat. Senior year comes around, and it feels like we missed the mark and the timeline's over.
Right.
It's over.
Right.
So, same type of thing. 10 years old, my mom was arrested by the FBI. You know who opened up the computer, helped them decrypt the hard drive, find what they were looking for? Me. And so I said, oh, I can do that job. That's my dream. That's my mission. It was like, I'm going to go and save people from demons like my mom was.
Amen.
And work for the FBI. I spent my entire college trying to get there. I had internships as a special agent. Had internships with Navy SEALs, getting shot with rubber bullets. I've got a little, you see that scar?
Yeah.
Rubber bullet to the face.
No way.
Get all the way to the last round of interviews. This happened like 3 times. These interviews are like 80 hours a piece. Yeah, bro. Sitting there, I'm the youngest guy by far. Drop me. Yeah. Mom's a felon. But you knew that.
Right.
Like,
right.
Why have I done all this? The timeline's over now and it's canceled again. Right. What keeps you going after that? Because I can sit here and say, oh, well, I have motivation to be successful and I'm going to will it, but that's going to run out because I've hit the brick wall now. And then behind the brick wall, there's like a steel wall and then like a bunch of dump trucks. Like I'm like there's no way through it.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I got to have faith.
Gotta have
God
faith.
is putting me on a different path. I've got to pivot now and keep going.
Amen. And you got to be the pivot.
100%.
You have to be the pivot. And
100%.
I know you feel that because of the childhood stuff. You are the pivot in your generation. You are the pivot in this life. You are the pivot of your own world. And when you think about the faith aspect and adding to it, your mission is completely different from the team you were on in high school, from the FBI agents that
Absolutely.
your mission is completely different. And if you want to talk about faith, we can talk about some faith.
Oh,
now.
100%.
Dude, everybody in this world has faith, whether they believe it or not.
Agreed. 100%.
Have you ever seen your heart? Have you ever physically seen your heart?
No.
Never seen it, but you trust and believe that it's going to pump blood, right?
Amen. Absolutely.
You feel that it's pumping, right, all the time. It's a choice to believe that that's what your body is doing. The physical part of you is what's happening, right? If you can have that trust and that faith the same way you do in your own heart, in your own mind, in your own body, is what you should be able to have externally, because there is something externally. I'm 100%, I'm a believer. I look at the camera right now.
Absolutely.
I'm a believer, you know? And there is something out there. And if you can learn how to exercise that faith and that trust and knowing that things are going to be okay, that's also adding to your mental health, your mindfulness, your understanding, your awareness of your own self, your own mission. And it's like your mind, body, spirit, it weaves into one, and you have to be able to expand yourself and to exercise all parts of yourself to understand your mission and to keep showing up and to right all those wrongs that might have happened in your own life and your family history and the future of what you're building. Like, you have got to intertwine those things. So
Absolutely, dude. I love that analogy. My mind's just like whirring. That's such a great way to put it.
yeah.
Because for me, I think it's hard to put into words. That's such a beautiful way to put it. But what I would say is, like, there's good in everybody. But it's like I was saying earlier, they start making bad decisions. You can lose that good.
Right.
But I really believe that in people's heart, when they do something that hurts someone else, they feel that.
Feel it.
They feel that. And people are like, oh, well, like 2-year-olds are awful. Like they're evil. It's like, they didn't learn that. They just come out kicking. And it's like, well, that doesn't mean that there is no God. They're just learning. Like,
Right.
like they're going to kick somebody and realize that when they get kicked, they're going to now know it hurts, and they're going to feel bad when they do it. And I really believe that we all have a moral compass of good. It's just a matter of whether we're going to respect that or abuse it and lose it.
100%. You're spot on with that, man. It's kind of like what we talked about earlier with you saying, you know, you make a decision, you do something bad, you face the music.
100%.
That's what it is. It's like,
Absolutely.
it's like, it ties into exactly what you're saying. It's crazy.
Yeah. And that good is God.
Amen.
Like,
It is.
100%. I can't believe people live their life without thinking there's something else and that there is a God, because like for me, I just can't even conceptualize what I would do. I mean, that's just a really disastrous thought,
Right.
to believe that there's nothing else.
Right. Like, this is it. This is all you got is, and you don't even know when you're going to go.
Right.
You're just going to show up every day. Like, it's crazy, man. There's no way that you can't think that there's something else out there. But from the conversations that I've been able to have, you know, with my patients in the past, and, you know, I've dealt with a lot of those faith conversations where, like, both of my parents died, and I just had a newborn. I lost my newborn. There's no such thing as God.
Right.
Like, there's no such thing. And some circumstances you can see that, but then you see how much of the mind is really being affected by that. And it is a choice, and it is a choice. And you have to show up, and you have to believe every day, because the more consistent you believe in that, you're wiring your brain to believe positive. All those neural pathways are opening up, and you're seeing a lot more. Like, that is what is going to allow you to have that faith, that consistency in your faith, like showing up and choosing that. You have to choose it.
I agree, dude. Amen.
Yeah.
And to people that would say, hey, all these awful things have happened, I don't know where we are. We are not in heaven. There's a spiritual war going on of
yeah.
evil and good. There's evil in this world.
Yeah.
But you need to be on the winning side, and the evil is not going to win.
It is not going to win. As much as good is fighting for the world, it's just as hard as evil is. And you see it everywhere you go. For every one good person, there might be 2 or 3 bad people. That's just the reality of the
good will
situation.
win.
Yeah. And how can we, turn those tides, right?
100%.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah, you get it. All right.
So I think faith's kind of the underlying answer, but my next question was, you said your main goal is to motivate as many people as you can.
Yep.
Motivation's great, but like we're saying, that motivation fades. Mm-hmm. So where does that discipline come from when it's hard to get motivated?
Yeah.
What are you doing in those moments where motivation's running out?
Yeah. I'm a huge guy when it comes to systems.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very big on systems. If you don't have a routine, you don't have something that you can stack the days on, then you're definitely going to fall out of order. I'm huge on motivation, saying that, preaching that, because I just want to show as many people as I can what it is that I do. You can come from living in the hood in Chicago, living in the hood in Florida, and still go to college and still become the man that you want to be able to be. That's the motivation part. Now, underneath that is all of the days I'm stacking between that. So I am gonna wake up at 6 in the morning. I'm gonna go lift. I'm gonna go run my 3 miles. I'm gonna come back home. I'm gonna get my 10 pages in. Like, I'm gonna read my stuff, and I'm gonna make sure I show up for myself. That's the discipline aspect, and just having that. So if I can kind of show up in different spaces and motivate people and show people like kind of how happy and joyous that I am, and how happy and joyous that somebody else can be, it's a product of the work that you put in. It's a product of the things that you do. So I'm very early in my entrepreneur journey, like with Project Spark. But trust me, the mission is to get people to understand that yes, there's motivation and there's happiness and there's joy on top of all that. Underneath it is the work that you put in, and you have to put the work in, or else you'll never get to where you need to go.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, nothing worth having is easy.
Right.
And I think this was a conversation I was having last week, is like, when you wake up, make your damn bed.
Yes.
Get the first win in.
Yes.
Go lift, go run, go read. Like, doing those small things, you're automatically in the frame of mind of accomplishment and small wins. Because
Yes,
I
bro.
feel like in my lowest times in my life, I don't like the word depression, because I feel like it's been like clinicalized, where people think they need to take a medicine for it. And I really think it's just a season or a growth period.
It is.
Like, I don't know, but I can't imagine like a butterfly and a caterpillar. Like,
Right.
that cannot be comfortable being cooped up in that thing for however long. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably miserable.
Right.
It needs that. It needs that misery to grow.
Yeah.
And so, like, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go cut the butterfly out of the cocoon," well, you just screwed it, because
Right.
now it's not gonna have the strength and the discipline and the reference point of that misery to be as strong as it should be.
Right.
And so, in my lowest points, I would always wake up and I'd be like, "God, I'm a loser. Like, what am I doing?" Like,
It's your first start of the day.
10 o'clock, I'm laying in bed, like, don't have practice till 2, it's summer, whatever. I don't know, whenever it is.
Yeah.
That's a bad place to be.
Yeah.
Get up and get those small wins in. It instantly is gonna increase your frame of reference. Get in the sunlight.
Get in the sunlight, dude. You have got to get in that sunlight. People are cooped up in their house, shades down. Like, no, that's not the real world. You're not living in reality. You're living in a sheltered place, and you're just adding to the discomfort of your life. When you're ready,
100%.
when you're ready to face that music and get uncomfortable in a new situation, that's when you rewire your brain. It's interesting you say how like depression's been like clinicalized and how they just use that. I worked as a TMS coach. I don't know if you know what TMS is. Transcranial magnetic stimulation, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a holistic way of treatment. Put a helmet on your head. It's got these different coils all the way around and magnets, and basically it sends like a pulse from one magnet to the other to help open up the neural pathways in your brain.
Whoa.
Yeah, sick. It was so sick, right? And you can literally see when you apply systems into your life and showing up and having these habits, make your bed when you first wake up. Give yourself a positive affirmation. I am strong. I am capable of doing that. It's not corny. It's not corny at all. Like, show up for yourself and add that, because that's how you rewire your brain to becoming what it is that you need to become. As long as you show up every day and have that system and you rely on that, you leave more space in your brain to think more creative thoughts. And then you can expand on top of that. It's like getting through that 20%, that little phase, that hardship, the depression, the anxiety, get through that. Once you're through that, you've built such a strong foundation. Adding faith to it, if somebody has that.
100%.
Yeah, that's how you flourish and 10x everything, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is so true. And it's not corny to give yourself whatever you need. Like, if you think it's corny to write it on your mirror or whatever it is, like, whatever it is that you need to receive that, you need to do it.
Right.
Because this world is mean.
Yeah,
There's
bro.
probably going to be 5 of y'all in the comments of this video saying, "You're an idiot. Like, you fucking loser. It's never going to work." Like,
Right.
bring it on.
Exactly.
It's never going to work. Whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I couldn't care less. I'm going to keep doing it. And
Right.
you can keep commenting and boost that algorithm. Comment again, actually.
Right,
Like,
please.
I don't care. But no one's going to come to you and say, "Dude, you're doing a great job."
Right.
Like, if you have people like that, genuinely,
Yeah.
you're blessed. And I'm blessed now to have that, but when I was at the bottom of the barrel, there was nobody telling me that. Crickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Sometimes
I
you
think
gotta
it's
be
so
alone.
important to say that to yourself. Yeah.
You have to, man. Especially as a man, and talk about mental health and manlyhood. Like June is men's mental health awareness month. Like a lot of guys will say, "Oh, I'm not gonna tell myself like I believe in myself," because they do think it's corny. I'm like, no, what's corny is you're not showing up for yourself, and you're gonna go down this bad path, and you're gonna be a nobody. That's literally what you're telling me right now, right? If you can take the chance to say I'm showing up for myself because it makes me feel good, there's nothing to be embarrassed about that for. And if someone's making fun of you for that, that's their fault. That's their loss.
100%.
Like, yeah, man.
That's so important. And I feel like it's going to spread into everything else, because if you don't love yourself, if you don't respect yourself, how are you going to respect or love anybody else? It's like, man, all these girls I date are terrible. It's like, because you don't respect yourself. Like, you don't like yourself. Like, you're attracting negativity. You've got to learn how to love yourself so that you can not only have a full cup, but fill other cups too.
Exactly, dude. And like what you just said right there, that's like, so I got this love tat right here. That's literally the reason why I got the tattoo. It was like, I got to show up for myself first before I can show up for anybody else.
100%.
Yeah, man.
Before we go, how did that TMS work?
Yeah.
Like, did it explain the process of it, and then were there results?
Dude.
Positive.
Yeah. Okay. I'll start with the results really quick because they were some positive results.
Wow.
Yeah. And trust me, I've dealt with both ends of the spectrum. Definitely both ends of the spectrum. Working in mental health, like the reason I had to step away from that a little bit is because I had experienced really hardship and I felt like it was all my fault. I won't get too much into that, but it weighed a lot on me because my only job was to help somebody. I couldn't help somebody. But the results on the other spectrum, on the other side of that, you can see people just grow, man, from start to finish, coming in, moping in, being sad. You can really see their body language is, I'm depressed. Like, you can see their body language. And then by week 8 on your 36th session and you've shown up every day, I literally saw people just smiling, happy, like excited to get in. Like, what do we got going on for today? And like, oh, I got chills right now. Like,
wow.
The results, it's such a true thing. It's such a true thing. And at first I thought it was just a placebo because, I worked, whatever. I studied mental health. I studied psychology. I knew all that. But then I was like, there's no way that without taking something, you can have these results.
Right.
And I was proven wrong in my first 3 patients. And it's like, I'm seeing people walk out of here happier than I could ever even imagine from when they first walked in. So TMS essentially is like a helmet that they put on that I was talking about. And there's different types of helmets depending on your mental health issue. So let's just keep it with depression. It's an H coil. So there's magnets on both sides of the helmet, just on these two, and it's spiraled in like that. And so throughout the coil, there are magnets all the way around. And one side is the opposite of the other. And when you're going through your session, you start it, it's gonna go through different pulses of like 12 seconds, like like super fast. It's really tight on your brain, like your jaw locks, your hand kind of goes like this a little bit. Yep, it does.
Whoa.
It doesn't hurt, but it's literally stimulating your brain. It's like taking your brain to the gym. So what the purpose of the magnets is to help open up the neural pathways in your brain. So when you're depressed or you feel anxious or you feel like bad about yourself, you have created a neural pathway in your brain to think like that automatically. That's your automatic response. What the TMS is doing is all the little shriveled up pathways that you decided not to be happy about and not to choose the right thing, it's strengthening those and help opening up so it's more accessible to think happy thoughts. During that process of the 45-minute session with the helmet on your head, it was my job to then talk to the person across from me, hey, what's going on in your life? Talk to me. What's the hard stuff? How can we get better? How can we see areas in our life that need to improve on? And creating those systems that we showed up every single day. So if you are looking for like something to help with your mental health, whether it's anxiety, depression, OCD, addiction, whatever it might be, and you don't want to go down that route of taking meds or antidepressants or anything like that, because that is hit or miss, TMS, I'm a firm believer in TMS.
Wow.
I truly am. It literally opens up your brain. It opens up your brain and it rewires it and it helps you establish systems and thinking positive without the distractions of all that negative thought, all the anxiety. Like, it truly does help. I ranted a little bit.
That's fascinating.
But,
No,
yeah.
I like that. And that's ignorant of me to say it's not like a clinically solvable thing.
But it's out there. Yeah.
Everyone that I see is like taking these medicines and it's just big pharma getting them and they just up the dosage and it's just a mess.
The marketing.
Yeah.
That's all that it is.
That's wild.
So TMS was FDA approved, I believe, in 2008. So it's still relatively new. Yeah, it's relatively new. But yeah, there are clinics popping up everywhere, man. And I'm a firm believer that this is the way to help mental health. Like, this is the way. If you don't want to take drugs, you don't want to take the things that people are doping you up on, and you become a zombie, you can't eat during the day because you're on your antidepressants. This is something where it's 45 minutes a day. You have to show up. It gives you a place to go. It gives you a responsibility to have. And then it gives you homework that you take home after doing the session. You show up for yourself. And it's like, that is what wellness looks like. It's showing up for yourself with a little bit of assistance of an exterior thing, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what if someone that wasn't clinically having an ailment, would they be able to do that?
Yeah. It's only positive. In my opinion.
Wow.
That's in my opinion.
Have you ever actually done it?
Yeah.
You've done it.
Dude, when I was working in the clinic, man, I was like, yo, put me on the machine.
Wow.
Yeah, because at the time, I'm living in Denver. So I moved to Denver. I had $300 in my bank account. No friends, no family. I had no furniture in my house. I was sleeping on an air mattress in my room. Like, I didn't have anything. On top of that, my grandma passed away. One of my teammates, committed suicide, unfortunately. Oh. Yeah, and my girlfriend broke up with me. So I'm sitting here like, I'm cooked. Yeah. I'm cooked, man. And I know that I'm trying to show up every day to help the person across from me when I know I need help myself. I'm telling you to do all these things. I need to do it for myself. So while my patients were working as hard as they can to get their mental health right, I was doing the same thing. And I would tell my other, my coworkers, hey, like, if you got 30 minutes, can I just hop up in the machine real quick and kind of have a session with you? And they gave me that opportunity in that space. And I would show up. I did the work. And in my own life, I'm the happiest I've ever been. I've been sad my entire life. And it's like, the past 2 years, it's been incredible. Like, I've never felt such a weight lifted off my shoulders before, and such clarity in my mind. And it truly is something good. Either whether you have major depression or not, maybe just a little bit of anxiety, it is beneficial. It can help. Like, I'm a firm believer in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that too, because I feel like people are just looking for a pill to solve a problem, but that doesn't make sense.
Right.
This is like, not only are you opening up the brain, but it's further than that. It's the questioning and navigating through these problems with an open mind, which is similar to the idea of us saying, taking a step back and observing your life. It's like, well, let's open up these different pieces of your mind that you have not been using. And now let's analyze the problem.
Right.
And through talking through the problem, you're going to have the memories of that open-minded viewpoint, and you're actually able to make some progress on these problems, dude.
Yo, I actually haven't thought about it like that. That's literally what it is, though. You're using that part of your brain that you basically shut down. You shut down all the positive thinking habits, right? And now you're forced to think those things, and you have to reflect on all the hardship and all that stuff and work through those steps, be the observer. You're right.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's actually great.
That's crazy. Last question.
Okay.
If there's a young hustler out there hoping to start their own business, what's one piece of advice, your best piece of advice for them?
Man, my best piece of advice. Okay. It literally doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter. Like, if you believe in yourself, you know who you are, you know what you can do and what you're capable of, you have got to show up every single day for yourself. There will be distractions. There's going to be girls. There's going to be more money. There's going to be more opportunities. You have got to stay aligned with who you are. Find the things that fill you up and make sure you're focused on those things that are adding to your life. Because yes, you can be a great entrepreneur. You can make a lot of money. But if you're not aligned with who you are and yourself, you'll never get to where you actually are meant to be. You are cutting yourself off from everything. Stay the path, keep the path, and don't listen to the nonsense that everybody's saying. Trust yourself. You are more than capable. For real.
Absolutely. I love that.
Thank you.
That's awesome. This has been an incredible episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll give you a chance to do a little shout out after this, but thank you so much. If you have any questions from me, you can always DM me on Instagram or here on YouTube. It's Cam Reeves. I appreciate y'all so much, and I'm gonna let Dan here sign off.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a wonderful time, man. Thank you so much for the conversation. Seriously, Man, fill my cup. It filled my cup. If you guys want to follow me at Instagram on 45Hutch and Project Spark with 2Ks on Instagram. I also have a creative workbook that I've been using to help stimulate, mental wellness, things like that. So check that out. That's going to be a link in my bio on 45Hutch and on Project Spark. And yeah, man, it's a great conversation. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was awesome. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Yo, you're a beast, bro.
That was fire.
You're actually a beast, man.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna research that.
You should.
Because,
Yeah.
dude, like, my